Hi everyone and welcome to lesson 3 of week 9. Now today we're looking at 3D shapes and if they can roll, stack and slide. So before we get started we will do our maths warm-up activities. You can use a whiteboard and a marker or a piece of paper and a pencil. Let's take a look. Using multiplication, which is groups of, how could you represent this problem? So listening really carefully. There are 3 beehives. Each hive has 4 bees. So what is the problem telling us? We are looking for 3 groups with 4 bees in each group. Now, what I would like you to do is pause the video and on a piece of paper, show me what that looks like. How can you represent this problem? And then come back and take a look. Okay, so let's do it together. There are 3 beehives and in each hive has 4 bees. So first of all, I'm going to get my 3 beehives, which are my 3 groups. So there's 1, 2, 3. So there's my 3 groups and that represents my 3 beehives. Now each hive has 4 bees. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got my 3 groups with 4 in each group and that's how you could represent this problem. Now let's look at it further. Let's solve the problem. What is 3 groups of 4? And we know that groups of is just like repeated addition. So let's add all of our bees together. Can you count with me? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 3 groups of 4 is 12. Well done, everyone. Let's look at this one. What's the answer? 20 take away 4 equals. Now for this problem and the next one, I want you to try and do this in your head. So we're going to count back because we know that subtraction and takeaway means that we need to go backwards. So let's put 20 in our head, 20, and remember we're counting back 4. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. How many fingers am I holding up? 4. So it was 20 take away 4. And what did I end up on? 16. Great job. 20 take away 4 equals 16. Now let's look at this one. Now you might just know this. You might know your doubles and it's 8 plus 8. But if you don't, that's okay. We're going to work it out together and we're going to do that in our head. We're going to put 8 in our head and count on another 8. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I have my 8 fingers. 8 plus 8 equals 16. Well done, everyone. Let's take a look at our learning intention and success criteria. So our learning intention is that we are learning to predict and describe the movement of 3D objects. And our success criteria is that I can determine which objects slide, roll, and stack and explain my reasoning. So let's take a look at what does this mean? Before we get started, I've got a video to show you of 3D shapes that you might know. You might like to sing or dance along.
I'm a 3D shape expert.
Here are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. A baseball, the moon, and an orange orange I have right here are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a sphere. A basketball, the earth, and marbles I have here are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a sphere. Here are the 3D shapes that I know: a sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. A soda can, a pencil shaft, and a can of soup would be examples of a cylinder, as you can plainly see. A marker, a glass of milk, and a peanut butter jar are all examples of a cylinder. Yes, I'm sure they are. Here are the 3D shapes that I know: a sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. An ice cube, a cardboard box, and a Christmas present for you are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a cube. My little dice, a sugar cube, and blocks that I use are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a cube. Here are the 3D shapes that I know: a sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. An ice cream cone, a pencil tip, and a megaphone are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a cone. A birthday hat, a traffic cone, or a funnel in my home are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a cone. Here are the 3D shapes that I know: a sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. A paperweight, Egyptian pyramids, and some tents would be examples of a pyramid, as you can plainly see. Here are the 3D shapes that I know: a sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone.
Hope that you liked that song, boys and girls. I know that it can be very catchy. I've had it in my head for a while. Now, what we're going to do now is collect 3D objects in our homes. And what you can do is set up a plank in your house or outside. You will need to predict what 3D objects will roll, slide, or stack. And why do you think this? Is it because it's round? Will it slide because it's got a flat surface? Or will it stack because it's also flat and we know that they can go on top of each other? So I have created a video of me doing this activity, but don't mind my slippers. It was really cold on this day. So take a look and I hope that it helps you to complete your activity. Hi everyone, today we're going to look at things that can roll, slide and stack. So I have my 3D objects. I've got my basketball, which is my sphere. I have a box of tea, which is my cube. I have a tissue box, which is my rectangular prism. And then I have a toilet roll, which is my cylinder. So I want you to think, which of these things will roll? Which of these things will stack? So will they stack on top of each other? And which of these will slide? So we really have to look at what they look like. Now, this sphere, I'm thinking it can roll because it's round. So let's take a look. I've set up a plank. Let's see if it rolls. Ready? There you go. So my sphere does roll. Now what about my toilet paper roll, my cylinder? Just like the sphere, it's round. So I'm thinking that this will also roll. Let's take a look. Okay, are you ready? There we go, that one rolls as well. Now, my rectangular prism and my cube, these have some flat faces. So I don't think they're going to roll because they don't have that curve. But maybe this will slide. So if I give it a little push, is it going to slide across? And the same with my rectangular prism. So let's take a look. So I'm going to put it here. I wonder if it'll slide. And it does. There you go. And then my rectangular prism sliding down my plank. Fantastic. Okay, so come back after and let's take a look at things that can stack. We'll be able to put them on top of each other. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video, boys and girls. Now we're going to look at 3D objects that stack. Now, if you look at my picture here, I have got 1, 2, 3, 4 rectangular prisms and I've got a cube. Because here at the bottom, I have my 3 books and then I have a tissue box, which I put the other way so it's nice, like a building tall in our poem. And then I have my cube at the top. Now, you can see that these are all on top of each other. And all of these 3D objects have flat faces, which makes them easy to stack. Now, can you think of any more 3D objects that can stack? Maybe you would like to find these in your house and then put them on top of each other to see how high they can go. And I'm thinking of one right now is a cylinder. That can stack because it's got the flat surfaces, the flat faces on the bottom and the top. So we could put something on top of one another. I can't wait to see what you have come up with. Okay, boys and girls, now that you've completed that activity and you've learnt about the 3D objects which can roll and slide or stack, we're now going to put what we've learned into a table. Now, what I would like you to do on a piece of paper is you can draw up this table. And instead of actually writing the shape or drawing the shape, you can just write which number it is. So it would be number 1, and I would know that that's a cone. And I've got number 2 is a sphere, number 3 is a rectangular prism, number 4 is a cube, and number 5 is a cylinder. And then at the top we've got roll, slide, stack. Now I'm going to do the first one for you. So I can see number 1 is my cone. Can it roll? It can roll. If you push it, it will roll because remember it's got the curve around the outside. Can it slide? It can slide. Now if we have our cone just like this, where it is on my picture and the flat surface is on the bottom, if we push it, it will slide. Can it stack? No, it cannot stack. We could not put another object on top of it without it falling down. So what I would like you to do now is complete the rest of the table. So pause the video and then come back and we'll take a look. Okay, so let's do this together. So number 1, my cone. We already know that it can roll, it can slide, but it cannot stack. Now, what about my sphere? Can it roll? Yes, it can. Can it slide? No, it just doesn't go along. It always is rolling. And can it stack? No, it cannot stack. We couldn't put a ball on a ball without the things falling off because it's round. What about number 3, my rectangular prism? Now, when I remember a rectangular prism, I always think of a tissue box. Can it roll? No, it can't roll. It can slide, so if you push it, it will slide along. And it can stack because it's got the flat faces, so it makes it easy for us to put things on top of it. Now, what about my cube? Or a dice, if it helps you remember. It can't roll, it doesn't have any curved faces. It can slide and it can stack. So it's just like our rectangular prism. The flat faces makes it easy for us to put things on top of one another. Now, what about number 5, my cylinder? Can it roll? Yes, it can roll. Can it slide? Yes. And it can stack, but only when it's upright like this, when it's nice and tall, we could put things on top of it. Well done, everyone. Now I'm going to show you a video about rolling, sliding and stacking. I hope that you enjoy it.
Stack, slide or roll, stack, slide or roll. 3D shapes, they can stack, slide or roll. Rectangular prisms, they can stack and slide, but they can't roll. No, no, no. Cubes can stack and slide, but they can't roll. No, no, no. Spheres don't stack or slide, but they can roll. Roll, roll, roll. Cylinders do it all. They can stack, slide, and roll, roll, roll. Stack, slide, or roll. Stack, slide, or roll. 3D shapes, they can stack, slide, or roll. Cones can roll and slide. Slide, line, line. Slide, line, line. Put them on top of other shapes, but you can't stack shapes on top of them. Pyramids can slide, not roll. No, no, no. No, no, no. Place them on top of other shapes, but you can't stack shapes on top of them. Stack, slide, or roll. Stack, slide, or roll. 3D shapes, they can stack, slide, or roll. Triangular prisms, they can stack and slide, but they can't roll. No, no, no. So many 3D shapes for you to explore. Discover which ones can.
Okay, boys and girls, I hope that you enjoyed that song. Now, to finish us off, we will just go over our learning intention and success criteria. Now, our learning intention was that we are learning to predict and describe the movement of 3D objects. And our success criteria was that I can determine which objects slide, stack, and roll, and I can explain my reasoning. So, we were looking at our plank when we set that up, and we had our 3D objects, and we were seeing if they could roll and slide. But before we did that, we were predicting if they could do these things. We were thinking, can it roll? Is it round? And is it curved? So we knew that, yes, it probably will roll. And then what about when we were stacking our objects? We did learn that the objects with flat faces means that they are easier to stack on top of one another. So I'm going to give ourselves a big tick for that. Well done, everyone, and I hope that you enjoyed this lesson.